In this video, we're continuing the life of Christ in a harmony of the Gospels. And we're looking at three parables where the Lord defends his disciples for not fasting, but for feasting. And so we begin in Mark 2:18-22. And John's disciples and the Pharisees were fasting. And they came and say unto him, Why do John's disciples and the disciples of the Pharisees fast, but thy disciples fast not? And Jesus said unto them, Can the sons of the bride chamber fast while the bridegroom is with them? As long as they have the bridegroom with them, they cannot fast. But the days will come when the bridegroom shall be taken away from them, and then they shall fast in that day. No man seweth a piece of undressed cloth on an old garment, else that which should fill it up taketh from it the new from the old, and a worse rent is made. And no man putteth new wine into old wineskins, else the wine will burst the skins, and the wine perisheth, and the skins, but they put new wine into fresh wineskins. So John's disciples are fasting, and they come to Jesus, and they say, Why aren't your disciples fasting? And Jesus said, How can that happen when the bridegroom is basically with them? The bridegroom is with those. They party at that time. They will fast later, no doubt looking at the crucifixion and trials that would come. They have the bridegroom with them. They cannot fast now, but days will come when the bridegroom shall be taken away from them, and then they will fast in that day. In other words, there's hard times coming, looking no doubt at his passion, his cross work, and so forth. So he's defending the fact that now is the time for rejoicing, not fasting, but there will become a time for fasting, looking at when Christ would be taken away from them and go to the cross. And he further makes a statement, No man seweth a piece of undressed cloth on an old garment, else that which should fill it up taketh from it the new from the old, and a worse rent is made. You don't take a brand new cloth and sew it on an old garment. Otherwise, it'll cause a further rent. No man putteth new wine into old wineskin. You don't take new wine and put it into old wineskin, else those old wineskins will burst and the wine will perish. But the skins, they don't do that, so they put new wine into fresh wineskin. I think what Jesus is saying here, I've come to not take something new and put it back into what is old. What I'm presenting is going to be new teaching, new truth. I'm not just going to put new wine into the old wineskin. So he's departing from traditionalism, from the Pharisaic traditionalism, I think is his point. And furthermore, Matthew drives home the same point. Then came to him the disciples of John, saying, Why do we and the Pharisees fast, but thy disciples fast not? And Jesus said unto them, Can the sons of the bride chamber mourn as long as the bridegroom is with them. When the bridegroom is with them before the wedding, they're celebrating, they're not mourning. And I think that's the thought. But the days will come when the bridegroom will be taken away from them, and then they will fast. No doubt, again, looking at the coming passion someday. Now's the time for parting, not fasting, Jesus is saying. And furthermore, and no man putteth a piece of undressed cloth upon an old garment, for that which should fill it up taketh from the garment, and a worse rent is made. Neither do men put new wine into old wineskins, else the skins burst, and the wine is spilled, and the skins perish. But they put new wine into fresh wineskins, and both are preserved. I think Jesus again is saying, I'm not taking that which is new and putting it into the old tradition of the Pharisees at this point and the religious leaders. I'm opening up something entirely new, and that will have to be put into new wineskins, not the old, I think is what he's saying. And then he gives another, we have another text that says, and they said unto him, the disciples, this is in Luke 5:33 to 39. The disciples of John fast often and make supplication. Likewise also the disciples of the Pharisees. But thine eat and drink, yours are parting. And Jesus said unto them, can ye make the sons of the bride chamber fast while the bridegroom is with them? No. Again, you don't fast while the bridegroom is there. There's parting. Days will come when the fast will happen. But the days will come when the bridegroom shall be taken away from them. Then they will fast in those days, again, looking no doubt at his passion. And he spoke also a parable unto them, no man rendeth a piece from a new garment and putteth it in an old garment. You don't take a new garment and put it in an old garment, else he will rend and tear the new, and also the piece from the new will not agree with the old. And no man putteth new wine into old wineskins. You don't put the new wine into the old skins again, Luke is saying. Same thing. Else the new wine will burst the skin, and itself will be spilled, and the skins will perish. But new wine must be put into fresh wineskin. And no man, having drunk old wine, desireth new, for he saith, the old is good. And I think what Jesus is saying here again, I'm not taking that which is new and putting it back into the traditionalism of what the Pharisees and the religious leaders were teaching. But what I'm putting is something new, like new wine into new wineskin. And no man having drunk the old, though, desires the new, for he says the old is good. And I think this is looking at the fact that there will be those that will say, the old is good. I don't need the new. The old is fine. So I'm going to stick with the old traditionalism, and not move on to that which Jesus is teaching and he is presenting, and that which is new. So there's going to be a conflict between traditionalism and what Jesus is coming to offer. And I think this is my understanding of what the three parables are teaching. I'm not taking my teaching and what I'm about and putting it back into the old wineskins of traditionalism that the Pharisees are following.